All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to look at some top reasons that the cryptocurrency bull run that we've been a part of can actually continue into 2021, because that's one of the million-dollar questions floating around in this space is like, hey, are we in some sort of mid-cycle correction after the prices have fallen, 50% plus in the past couple months? Or, are we in some sort of like long-term bear market crypto winter like we saw in 2017, into 2018, 2019, before prices started going back up in 2020 for the long term? So we're gonna look at some reasons for that argument in this video today. Look at some news that's happened in the space since we did our live stream yesterday. We do these Monday through Friday here on this channel. Just make sure you turn on notifications, subscribe to the channel down below to find out about those whenever they go live. And look at the cryptocurrency prices and a lot more. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step from start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, I hate these disclaimers. It's not financial advice. Nothing I'm telling you in this video is designed to convince you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information. There's lots of scammers down below in the comment section. Just ignore them. I'll never give you my phone number or ask you to invest with me. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Culture Hives, TH Like This, DS, Catherine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I want to look at some arguments in favor of the bull run continuing. So like I was saying before, this is a huge debate in the space right now. People are trying to figure out, like, have cryptocurrency prices just tanked for years? Or are we in some sort of correction that, can actually, we start seeing higher cryptocurrency prices pretty soon and maybe even potentially breach the all-time highs that we set, just a couple months ago. So I want to actually give you perspective from somebody who's really understands this space really well, and actually look at some of their reasons as to why they think that the cryptocurrency prices are going to go up and that we're not going to be in some sort of multi-year bear market like a lot of people think they are. So who is this person? Well, this is Joseph Lubin. Okay, so if you don't know who he is, he's a pretty influential figure in this space, especially in the Ethereum space. So he's the co-founder of Consensus, okay, of also Ethereum and Consensus. But basically, he's a crypto OG. He's responsible for so many of the projects in this space actually becoming what they are, particularly with Ethereum. Okay, and I want to play you a clip right now of some of his perspective on what's going on with the markets and why he thinks that we're going to not see something as bad as we did in 2018, and why he has a lot of hope for the space, in the coming months. So let me pull this up on my screen here. Let me just play this clip. I got to fix some of my live streaming software where I actually play natively in my browser, but this will probably do for now. So let me know if you can hear it okay. Let's just start it here.
Activity in crypto?
So if you've been watching for years or the last few months, it's clear that there's so much more activity in the general blockchain ecosystem, and especially the Ethereum ecosystem, and the prices have risen in concert. And so there was so much intensity that they essentially a few weeks ago hit a bit of a blow off top. Yeah, we're back to growing in price, and the activity hasn't stopped, and the cycles that we're seeing in our ecosystem, just because we're really crossing the chasm. This is really relevant to pop culture and the financial world right now, and so the cycles are really compressed, and so we'll see recoveries much faster.
The downturn
forward.
cycles are compressed.
The up and down and up cycles, exactly.
So volatility, additional volatility
Absolutely.
is what you're expecting.
So there will be volatility because this is a paradigm shift that is underway to new trust foundations, new decentralized financial infrastructure from the planet, and many things being built on top of that. What I was referring to is that we're not going to see long crypto winters. We're going to see crypto winters that are about 3 weeks, maybe 3 months, if things get extremely overly exuberant for a while. But things are going beautifully in the ecosystem.
Well,
Awesome. So there you have it. So I wanted to kind of like draw out some things that he said there in that clip because they're very similar to everything we've been saying on this channel. Now, like I said, I haven't taken an official position myself on, whether, crypto is just going to go back up, immediately, or whether we're going to see some sort of long-term correction on this. But a lot of things that you're saying is very similar to what I've been talking about on this channel for months now, which is the fundamentals in this space are night and day difference of what they have been since 2018, right? In 2018, we were basically kind of sitting around trying to figure out what we're going to do with smart contracts. DeFi was an idea in a lot of people's heads, but we have so much more interest in this space. It's absolutely exploded. We have countless people sitting on the sidelines ready to get into NFTs, even though the NFT bubble's kind of popped over the past several months as well. And that's a lot of what he's saying is the fundamentals are night and day difference, and the fundamentals make it the case where it's highly unlikely that you'll see this prolonged crypto winter like we saw, and that he doesn't expect anything more than, weeks to months, like maybe 3 months max is what he's saying for some sort of correction, prolonged correction. And that's also pretty similar to what some people are saying in the space who have a lengthening cycle approach to the cryptocurrency markets. Particularly go check out Ben Cohen's channel over at Into the Cryptoverse. He talks about lengthening cycles and how he thinks that we're in the middle of a sort of a summer cool-off period, and that'd be very similar to what he's saying here. So those are some top reasons that he's bullish on this space and why he thinks that we're not going to enter into some multi-year bear market. Like I said, I've been in the doubting camp in terms of, multi-year bear market. It seems unlikely to me that we'd have something as bad as we did last time, simply because of the same types of things he's talking about. The fundamentals have changed. Now, like I said, I've always been open to being wrong about that. I think you think about these things. Think about these things in terms of probability. But if you're talking about the blow-off top that we saw recently not looking like the blow-off top that's happened in the past for other cryptocurrencies, then it would stand to reason that if this time didn't look exactly like last time in terms of the euphoria and the peak, then why would it look exactly like last time in terms of the correction? Okay, so that's another thing you got to keep in mind. So what do you all think down in the comment section below? Are we into, multi-year bear market? Are we into just a brief correction for crypto? How long will it last? Let me know what you think. Ready for the bull run? Somebody says they left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth on crypto over the past 2 months and no one even wants to touch crypto. I think that can be true for basically people who are like gambling on altcoins. Now, also, one thing that you have to keep in mind is while the crypto cycle could continue, that doesn't necessarily mean that some of the altcoins that popped up over the past few months will reach their all-time highs again, all right? Some of these projects that were very new, some of them might go to zero and never recover. But the overall space may continue on an upward trend. And that's one of the reasons I personally only stick to really high-quality projects that have stood the test of time, have stood bear cycles. Because if you enter into one, if it survived one before, it's very likely to survive it again. Somebody says bull, somebody says no bear market, somebody says I have no idea. Into summer, brief correction, weekends are, basically selling to strong hands. After Labor Day, everybody gets back from vacation. Yeah, good predictions there. All right, so let's actually check on the prices. So let's go check on, let's see here. I'm gonna pull up CoinGecko. We'll check on this. So Bitcoin is at $34,666. ETH is at $2,127. Let's actually pull up a candlestick chart and kind of look at where we are with things. Let's see here. Now, there's some pretty the fact that we're ending the fact that we're ending June are a couple different milestones that we are going to watch out for crypto, which is basically the quarterly close and then also the monthly close. Okay, we're not on the weekly time frame now. I don't know that these are actually significant, that anybody really cares about what the quarterly close is or the monthly close, but those are something to watch out for. So let's actually pull up BTC USD. So Bitcoin, like I said, we're at $34,303. Let's look at these moving averages on the chart here. So basically, Bitcoin did, we did get above this 20-day moving average. Now it looks like we kind of did get a rejection there, and that Bitcoin's gone back down. So one thing that I would really like to see here before we get too excited about the Bitcoin price is that we actually see a higher low here. Okay, I think that's something a lot of other people are looking at. A couple important pieces of data I think people will watch out for is, number one, that we make a higher low here. So these are the lows. So you're making lower low here, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, about the same. So some people are like, oh, maybe this is a bottom because we, hit the same low about the same time. And if we can basically not fall down to this level again, or maybe we do and we hold it, maybe we can make a higher low here, all right? And then if that's the case, then maybe we can kind of push above these moving averages. That's going to be the next sort of critical place that people are watching for. Is Bitcoin actually going to get above the moving average and use it as support? Because right now, this is basically a resistance line. So if this can be support, and then this can be support, and then this can be support, then that means that Bitcoin's going to be outperforming its past history, its past momentum. And like I said, I'm not a huge TA guy. Like I don't try to like divine the future and exactly what's going to happen and make really specific cryptocurrency prices. I treat this like a horoscope necessarily. But I do think moving averages are a pretty solid data point because they tell you what's the asset doing relative to its past performance. And if a bull market's going to continue, then basically Bitcoin needs to be outperforming its past velocity and its momentum. Okay, so we can also check on that for ETH. So that's why I say I'm not too excited yet in the short term. So I do resonate a lot with what Joe was saying about the fundamentals of the space, but I think in order to see some of this bullish momentum continue on, we need to see some of these we need to see a change in direction of the momentum. So same thing for ETH USD. ETH, we had 4 green candles in a row. All right. And so we're, kind of dropping here. I mean, we're going to have some red days. You know what I mean? Crypto's volatile, goes up and down. So it stands to reason that basically if you're going to have several green candles in a row, you're going to see a red candle at some point. Now, that being said, we just want to see how big the red candle is going to be or how many successive red candles you have in a row. And same type of thing I was saying with the Bitcoin price. I'd love to see ETH start to make a higher low here because we've been putting in lower lows. You know what I mean? Lower low. And I want to see Bitcoin, ETH also make higher lows and then get above these moving averages before we get too bullish on the price of Ether itself. And honestly, at the end of the day, I still think that Bitcoin's leading the show. So I don't think we're going to be in a situation where Ether just takes the lead and starts charging off to infinity. You know what I mean? While Bitcoin's trying to make up its mind on what it's going to do. Like if Bitcoin's just can't figure out if it's bullish or if it's bearish, it just moves sideways like a crab. Then I highly doubt that ETH is just going to rocket off. I do talk about ETH potentially flipping Bitcoin at some point in the future because what you can do with Bitcoin, more reasons to hold it. But I don't necessarily think that time is now. I think that we need more momentum in the markets in order for that to really take place, and we don't have a ton of momentum. Okay, so we can check on the ETH to BTC ratio. So this will basically track a flipping, and we see some more green in here. So in the short term, basically that means ETH is outperforming Bitcoin. But high level, we'd have to get to I believe it's 0.16 or 0.18. I can't remember off the top of my head before we can actually flip it. And that's a lot higher than where we are now. Okay, so you can see it in the past. All right. Let's see here. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's a lot higher than where we are now. So, but if you look on the past 7 days here, that we've had some encouragement in the crypto space because we see green 7-day for most assets. All right, and that's the other thing that we'd also like to see. In addition to basically Bitcoin starting to get back above its moving averages and get bullish again, we want to see some of these alts also responding positively. Okay, we see a little bit of that happening on the 7-day here. I'm trying to actually size it over on my screen. It's not letting me do that quite as well. But yeah, we want to see more of this type of stuff. It's sort of like seeing grass, pop up from snow after those seasons have changed. We want to see a little bit of that with altcoins as well. Some of these lower cap cryptocurrencies, basically people willing to take the risk. Because that's the thing is when people are putting money back in this market, altcoins have the farthest to fall. After something falls like 90%, it can still fall another 90%. You know what I mean? That's basically what happened last time, and some of these things never recovered. So smart people are getting in the space. They know that. And a lot what people's altcoin strategy is going to try to do is they're going to try to find the bottom, and they're going to try to buy coins, accumulate them over time, when nobody's interested in them, and they're going to try to wait for those things to pop whenever the whenever the prices actually start going up, because that's when they get the highest ROI. They basically buy them when nobody cares about them, but they're probably going to try to wait for them to see a bottom, because they don't want to keep buying something that keeps falling another 90% like what happened last time. So that's why I say we want to see some signs of life on alts as well before we try to conclude that, we're just, everything, we're out of the woods. So I saw a project come up yesterday that is getting a lot of heat on Twitter. So I'm trying to pull it up here. I keep getting a paywall on some of these news sites. I don't know if it's actually going to let me watch it. Let me just see if I can find it on a different news site. Okay, so I saw this come up on Bloomberg actually, but there's a paywall on Bloomberg that I'm not subscribed, so I can't look at it right now. So I'll just put it up on a different website. I don't know if their coverage is as good. But I saw a lot of this floating around Twitter that people were pretty salty about. So Sam Altman wants this eyeball scans for security measures on Worldcoin, offers cryptocurrency for trade. Okay, so this is the first time we've seen something like this pop up, at least I have. So people talk about like what can you use cryptocurrencies for, and one thing is basically to be an incentive for people to do things, and you could just pay them with this cryptocurrency. And we're seeing this with Worldcoin, okay? But the task that they're trying to incentivize you with is basically to scan your eyeball for bio data. And they got lots of people who are kind of, all up in arms about this on Twitter because it sounds pretty dystopian. So basically, according to Bloomberg, I was actually trying to read the Bloomberg article, but like I said, the paywall came up and I couldn't access it. Popular Silicon Valley personality ventured into another business and is focused on massive populative cryptocurrency in the present times. Basically, I'm trying to find more details about the currency itself. So Worldcoin cryptocurrency basically is bordering more on security and improving the transactions of blockchain coins, especially aims to give its users a chance to freebies their first ventures. Okay, eyeball scan is looking more into security concerns and creating a veil of protection for a user, especially in major transactions in the future launch. So I guess the eyeball scan has to do with security, but of course there could be some ulterior motives here. Maybe they're using some of the data in the background. They say that their data is completely private, et cetera, but I think that's got a lot of people's skeptic hats go on whenever they read something like that. So what do you think down below? What do you think about Worldcoin? Do you think would you scan your eyeball in exchange for cryptocurrency? Somebody says, yeah. That's awesome. It's pretty great comments down there. So I saw another post yesterday on. Well, actually, let's pull this up first. Let's. One big thing that's gotten people kind of scared of the crypto markets is uncertainty about what's going to happen with China. So we did see basically China crack down on Bitcoin mining. We saw the hash rate drop considerably for Bitcoin. Lots of miners in China basically having to shut down their operations. And I did see this come up a couple days ago, but I want to talk about today, which is basically, China's kicking out more than half of the world's Bitcoin miners, but a whole lot of them could be headed to Texas. Okay, so that's one thing we talked about on this channel is basically, if China basically cracks down on Bitcoin mining, then really what it's going to do is just send them somewhere else, because a lot of these mining operations aren't just going to stop. They're just going to leave China. And we're seeing some people say that Texas could be a hot spot for some of this type of stuff. Okay. So we see the recap here on CNBC. So in May, Beijing called for a severe crackdown on Bitcoin mining and trading, setting off what could be dubbed as crypto circles as the Great Mining Migration. So Texas is an ideal destination for miners thanks to abundance of solar and wind power, its unregulated market, and its crypto-friendly political stance. So that's another thing is people talking about alternative energy sources for mining because of well, for lots of reasons, but one thing it actually is good for in the Bitcoin space is some of the heat that Bitcoin has taken for, not being as environmentally friendly as it has been in the past, okay? Or not as environmentally friendly, and that's at least perception of it. And so if you can use renewable energy resources, alternative, energy that basically tries to heal that perception of Bitcoin, then that can be good for the overall space. And so we see mining operations trying to use these alternative energy sources, and that's a good thing because Texas essentially has... basically, this move to Texas helps enable that. Somebody says China's already using the digital yuan. They don't care about the rest of the world. Nothing new with their attitude. That's at least the perspective in the chat here. So it's so funny watching different people's perspective on crypto who are, lawmakers, regulators, what they're saying. So this says, government must have power to reverse crypto transactions, says co-chair of Blockchain Caucus. So basically, many in Congress seeing Bitcoin as de facto participant in criminal conspiracy. So we talk about this a ton on this channel that some people, so many regulators just use that scapegoat all the time that, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is just used by criminals, right? Well, it's like, so is green cash. Okay. And they're able to essentially sidestep anything they don't like about cryptocurrencies and just use this sort of reason to shut down all arguments when really you should be arguing about other things. What regulations should apply to cryptocurrencies, all that type of stuff. Rather than being like, well, we don't even have the conversation. We're just going to use this reason that, that it's worked in the past because it kind of scares people and shuts them down when you could easily throw counter arguments in their face. Like I was just saying a second ago, like green cash is used by criminals probably more than Bitcoin is, to tell you the truth. But yeah, it's just more and more of that. So people are making fun of this on Twitter because they're saying like, they don't get it. Like why the government cannot reverse transactions on blockchain, right? You can't reverse transactions on Bitcoin. That's like the whole point in the first place. But they're talking about how we need this in order for to play friendly with regulators. So let's see if we got any questions here in the chat. People think, see here, the war on drugs equals like the war on crypto. Somebody says, I can see my bong. I don't have a bong in the background. Probably looking at my water bottle. So let's look at some on-chain metrics here. I had to log in. So let's see here. Let's actually look at see if we can see any bottom indicators, because it's pretty popular looking for top indicators when we think there could be a correction looming. But now let's actually look at some on-chain bottom indicators, and we'll just kind of watch these over time and see if they actually play out to be accurate. So I'm gonna pull a glass node here. We look at top and bottom indicators. So let's look at the PL multiple here. Again, this is one we talked about yesterday. Again, the big picture here is that historically speaking, whenever this has gotten deep into the green, it's typically been, towards the bottom of a correction. We started off in the green here. And yeah, let's just see kind of what happens with this over time. I'm trying to actually zoom into my screen. So if you look at the daily, here, we've actually just dipped in, we just kind of kissed into the screen territory, and now we're back up. Okay, but previously, if you look at history, we kind of stayed in this for a while. So, you know what I mean? We were here for days and then back in here and kissed it before. So it could be the type of thing where we enter into it once, we come back into it for a little while, and then, you know, we do that. So that being said, we can enter into that green phase before we see any kind of nasty correction, like that was also true in the past. So we'll see if that holds true for this time. Again, this is really going to be so the proof is going to be in the pudding, I guess, for these on-chain metrics to see what happens over this cycle. And honestly, like a lot of our models might have to change, you know what I mean? Because if the nature of the cycles are changing, let's say we actually do get some sort of super cycle territory long term, and let's say that what the correction that we're experiencing right now is just, you know, sort of a cool off in the middle of some sort of super cycle, then, you know, we have to have new models about how we think about this in the first place. And so, you know, this time's going to be, it's going to be pretty critical for these types of things. All right, so let's see. Somebody says I sold. That's why it's up. They're asking like, why is the Bitcoin price up? Because it sold. That's awesome. So there's any other questions here? Buy, hold, exercise, eat right. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Yeah, totally. Somebody says market will crash, market will dump. Somebody says these politicians have their money mainly in stocks. The laws are made to protect their money, not ours. So let's see. Somebody's asking about staking Ether. So right now, I am not staking, okay? So the reason I'm not staking is, to me, it's just not worth the risk until we get out, until the merge happens, okay? Because I still want liquidity with the Ether just to have the options open until we get out of this kind of initial phase where we're migrating over to ETH 2.0. So what do I mean by that? So basically, we are in a transition phase from ETH 1 to ETH 2.0. ETH 2.0 is set up right now on the side. It's being developed in parallel to ETH 1.0 right now. And essentially, this is a new blockchain that's going to get merged back into ETH 1.0. So if you stake right now on ETH 2.0, you're taking your cryptocurrency, you're moving it to a new blockchain, and you're locking it up until that merge happens. And now we don't exactly know when that merge is going to happen. We got a pretty good idea. We think it's going to be conservatively at the end of this year in 2021, but I say not conservatively. It's optimistically going to be at the end of this year in 2021, more conservatively at the beginning of next year in 2022. So, I mean, these types of things are always subject to delays. So you don't know when you can get it back. And let's just say, you know, we had some sort of big correction, or maybe you had an emergency or something and you need to access some of your funds and you can't do it because you can't get it back up because of the lockup period. So that's just why I'm not currently doing it. I do plan to stake long term, not necessarily all of my ETH, but some portion of it. Okay. And so that's why, yeah, that's why I'm not currently doing it, but I do plan on doing it later. And I've been down the entire path of staking. Like we did the staking masterclass at the beginning of this year, so I've set up a validator. I've done all that stuff. I'm just not currently locking up Ether in order to do it. Somebody says, do I have any thoughts on needing to close the monthly candle in green in order to continue the trend? Also, would go the 6-month candle importance. I mean, I think it's important, but I don't think it's like vital to continue the uptrend, right? I think the candles are significant, but they're not necessarily like the most significant thing on the face of the planet. So it says when investments are too complicated, you will lose what you don't understand. Yeah, I think it's a good point. That especially applies to crypto too. And I did want to bring up one last point that I saw actually on Reddit here. I thought it was a good point. So basically, this is a post that says, you know, young people may not have as much capital to invest, but you're rich in time. Okay, so I think it's a good point. You know, basically, they're saying that people get bummed in crypto who don't have a ton of money to invest. They can watch people with lots of money put it in crypto and make really fast returns just on like a, you know, modest appreciation in crypto markets. But they're saying, like, if you're young, you have a major edge in time. But here's where I want to take that next step further. I think the point that they're trying to make is that essentially, if you have more time, you could, you know, do more research. You could, you know, you could add your time to help multiply your returns. But I want to counter this with something else, which is if you don't have a significant amount of money to invest in the crypto markets, again, I don't like to give a lot of financial advice and try to say like you should pick these coins or something like that. But one piece of advice I am okay with giving is essentially if you don't have a ton of money to invest, then the best investment you can make is in yourself. And this is true not just in crypto, it's true of everywhere. Like if you're trying to invest in stocks, trying to invest in real estate, whatever it is, if you don't have a significant amount of money to get started, then usually the best investment you can make is in yourself because you have more control over yourself. You know, you're going to get a higher ROI out of investing in yourself because you can learn, you know, a high income skill where you can increase your income and you can use that increased income to actually get that sizable amount of money that you can invest in something else, whether it's crypto, whether it's some sort of other long-term investment that you have more stability outside the crypto markets. And as always, like I think the best way to do that for people who are watching this channel, who are into the crypto space, is become a developer. You know what I mean? Blockchain development is one of the highest paying skills in tech. It's a massive, massive, massive shortage for developers right now. You know, and most people are looking to crypto to essentially get financial freedom and accomplish their financial goals, but basically having a high income skill is going to give you that cash flow that you really need to do that in the first place. So that's why I'm so bullish on that. And that's why I think, you know, this person's right that if you're young, you don't have much capital to invest, you're rich in time. Yeah, I would take that to the next level and say, use that time to acquire skills that are lucrative so that you can actually, you know, make a outsized return on that time investment. And then you have money to where you don't have to spend all your time plus money investing. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. You know, if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, you can become a blockchain master step-by-step from start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.